Okay, so today is another round of speaking. Uh, right, this is from March 2024. This is speaking assessment D. And we have Afan, so it's his turn today. And we're starting with the warm up. Afan, you ready?
Yes,
So, do you enjoy watching films?
yes, I enjoy watching films. I mainly watch films related to um, horror or films related to action. And I really like action films because it's always interesting and it's an adventure where like you never know what happens next. And one of my favorites is also horror films because uh, I mainly don't like watching them when I'm alone for obvious reasons, but I like to watch them when some cousins are over or I'm with some people watching with me.
Okay, so uh, I believe you said uh, right the type I like to watch the action type of film and horror type of film. I believe that's what you said. If not, like something along those lines.
Yes,
And so instead of saying action type of films, you can just say I like to watch films like action films and horror films. Or if you want to, sort of elaborate on that, give a bit more detail, or just sound fancy. I like films of the action and horror genres, right?
okay.
And then uh, you said that the adventure ones are interesting. You can say that they're exciting with everything that goes on, and right, all the way the story develops. And you said that you're always waiting to see what's going to happen next. Ah, and then you said horror types of films. So instead of saying horror, you can say films of the horror genre or just horror films. And you enjoy those. Very well said that you don't like to see them alone. You don't like to watch them alone for obvious reasons. So you watch them with either friends or cousins, or when there's someone else around, and so that makes it more enjoyable. Okay, what would you like to do during your next holiday?
I would like to go abroad and visit some mountain areas where I haven't been because I've never seen real mountains before, so I'm really excited. I hope to go hiking and some hill climbing, and I want to take many photos of the view so that I can remember what kind of um what kind of holiday I had went to. I think it'll be a peaceful and a really thrilling experience. Very different from the place I live, and I'm looking forward to um the fresh air and quiet time observed in the mountains.
Okay, so the term for is mountainous region, right? Instead of saying a mountain region or mountain area, you say mountainous region or mountainous area. So mountainous, right? And
Yes,
right, so you want to go mountain climbing, you want to go hiking. It's not hill climbing, right? It's either mountain climbing. You did mention hiking, so it's mountain climbing, right? And so you want to get a good view from there. You want to take lots of pictures to make it memorable, to save that experience, and always have something to look back on and enjoy the view, and it's peaceful and thrilling as well. So yeah, and you mentioned that you don't have mountains in the place where you live, so that's good. Okay, how do you get to school every morning?
I walk to school every morning. My house is like 10 minutes away from the school gate, so it's really convenient. and school starts by 8 o'clock. School starts by 8 o'clock, and
Yeah,
sir,
okay.
I don't know what to say more.
No, it's okay. Right, it is a warm-up question. So yes, I you could just say, I leave home at quarter to 8. It just takes me 10 minutes, so I'm at school gates by 5 minutes to 8. So I have I can reach there comfortably.
Okay.
All right, now getting to the actual assessment, right? The interview and the questions will be about competitions. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Afan, what types of competitions are popular in your country?
Sir, I can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen.
Wait, yeah, I can see what type of. Yeah, okay. Uh, the most common are sport competitions like football. It's one of the national. Sorry, I can't hear.
Right, sorry for that bit of disturbance. I guess there was, right, you couldn't hear me or whatever. So again, what types of competitions are popular in your country?
The most common competitions in my country are sports competitions. Football would be a really is a really national passion. There are professional leagues that people watch on TV every weekend, or otherwise they go to the stadiums near their area. And children start playing football from a very young age, as it's one of the most famous uh, famous sports known here. Besides sports, we also have dancing and singing competitions. These are often broadcasted on TV, and many people vote to their favorite singers or dancers. Uh, these shows find new stars in our country. I think people like these competitions as they offer a con- uh, as they offer excitement and a chance for ordinary people to become famous.
Okay. So because, right, the question was what types of competition, so you could obviously mention more than one, and you did. You mentioned football and singing and dancing, and was there a third one that I missed?
Football, singing, dancing. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay. Uh, can you tell me about a time when you took part in a competition and what happened?
I remember taking part in a drawing competition last year at my school. Uh, I spent a lot of days planning on what I would draw at, on the day of the competition. Um, the the topic for the competition was our future city, where we had to imagine a future where uh, technology and other uh, futuristic things would be used, like robots and machines replacing humans. There were many talented students. I worked really hard and almost finished the my drawing at time. When I finished, I felt good about my picture, but I did not think I would win. But when they announced the winners, I was shocked to hear my name called for first place. I won a new set of art supplies and uh, uh, new set of art supplies. Yeah.
Okay. So, I think one thing I just want to like I picked up in your response. You said I was able to finish uh, at time. It would be I've managed to finish in time or on time. Right? In time meaning you had some time left. On time meaning just as time completed. Right? You were able to finish your drawing as well. And so yes, you were pleased with your drawing, but didn't expect it to actually win, but you did. So that's good. Now keep in mind, I let you, say it out full again because I want you to be confident about what you're saying. Uh, since you can see obviously that this entire part with the three questions is only 2 to 3 minutes long, and so the examiner will cut you off. They'll say, okay, thank you, next question, right? Or however they might deal with it. And so don't get flustered, right? Because they have to complete those questions and they have limited time, right? So you do your job, you give a complete response, whatever you're thinking of. The examiner will stop you when they think that they have enough of a response to grade and then move on to the next question. Okay? So that's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Okay, next question. Do you think and again, right, this part you will not be able to see the questions in the actual assessment as I mentioned multiple times, right? So I'm showing it to you now, but in the actual test or like the exam, you will not have a question sheet in front of you, right? It will all be verbal. You have to pay attention to what the examiner is asking, and if the question is unclear, you can ask them to repeat the question.
Okay.
So do you think competitive sports are good for students? Why not?
Yes, I believe that competitive sports are really good for students. There are many positive reasons for this. First, sports help students to stay healthy and strong, which is good for their bodies. Also, when you play on a team, you work with others, and you focus on teamwork, which is an important thing in life. Um, and sports teaches you how to follow rules and be disciplined. They can make students feel happy and confident. They help with stress from school. They give It's a time where students don't have to study, they get a break from studying. You also learn how to win and lose, which helps you handle difficult situations later. But some people worry about injuries or sports that take too much time away from studying, or sports that require too much time to master. But despite all these small problems, I think um, the good part of sports are much more than the bad parts of overall.
Right, so you could say that the benefits are much more than, the drawbacks, right? Or the advantages are much more than the disadvantages. Now, that was a nice full response. And I would appreciate what I'm finding is that you are comparatively more confident with your responses and you do have some matter to deliver. So I don't know if you've been looking stuff up or practicing or whatever it is that you're doing, or just more like, in the zone or attentive, whatever it may be. And obviously, if you're putting in effort, it's showing, right? So that is appreciable and commendable. So good job on that. Let's continue. So here's the short talk. And this is the only part where you will be given a card with, just this part in the box, right? So here you will get some time to think, like some time, basically 1 minute to think about your response and then start talking. And so it's about preparing for a celebration. It is your cousin's birthday soon and your family are planning a surprise party. Your parents have asked you to be in charge of one of the following options: cooking a special meal for everyone or inviting friends and other relatives, right? Talk about how easy or difficult each option would be to do and say which option you would prefer and why, right? So since you get 1 minute to think about it, that's what I'm giving you. And when you're ready to speak on the topic, let me know. All right, Afan, go ahead with your response.
Both options have their own set of challenges, but I would definitely prefer to take the task of inviting friends and other relatives, as this choice works better for me because I'm more comfortable with communication and organization than I'm with cooking for a large group. Talking about uh, cooking a special meal for everyone. This option would be really difficult for me as I do not have much experience in the kitchen, especially when it comes to cooking on a large scale. preparing a meal for everyone suggests a big guest list, and those guests would likely have their own preferences and like and food preferences. uh, the stress of making sure the food comes out great and is ready is ready exactly on time and is ready exactly on time would be really hard for me, as a simple mistake could ruin the whole dish, and a simple mistake could ruin the whole surprise party, and the physical effort and the potential for failure makes it a high stress option that I'd rather avoid. On the other hand, inviting friends and other relatives would be really easy for me, as the main steps involve creating cards or making phone calls and sending out messages and keeping a track of if they're confirmed to come, and uh, if they're confirmed to come and I'm comfortable with talking to people using communication tools. While it requires attention to detail, ensure no one is missed, I'd rather call people than cooking cooking in a kitchen and making a special meal for everyone.
Okay, so that was a good response, and right, you use some good vocabulary there. Your phrasing and structuring and organization of ideas, presentation was good. Obviously, it could be polished more. If you work on a bit more on your fluency, but other than that, yeah, good. Uh, you sort of seem to struggle to put your ideas together when you were talking about inviting your relatives, but you still managed to do well.
Yeah, because I just made some points which I had to talk about, but then I couldn't remember those when I had to speak.
Yeah, and the good thing is that you didn't write them down because you will not be allowed to have a pencil and paper during your actual assessment. So you have to keep it all in your head. Okay, shall we move on?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. 1 minute, I'll come back.
yeah, sure. Okay, so part three is a discussion which sort of builds up on part two, sort of. And so the first question is, do you think big family celebrations are enjoyable? Why or why not?
Yes, I think that big family celebrations are a lot of fun. The main reason being that the opportunity to meet with the relatives you don't see, as modern life is very busy, and everyone is busy in their own work. Let being a student and a mother or a father, um and it's a good time for everyone to come together, share stories, share their struggles, and catch up on life events. They they help strengthen family bonds and their connections, and the overall atmosphere is usually lively and positive, full of laughter and fun and good food. And it's a chance to celebrate milestones or holiday together, which makes the event feel more um, important and uh,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, right, you're really trying to put your ideas together properly. You are using good vocabulary like milestones and well, some of the other words I can't really recall right now, but you know, uh, good stuff. Okay. In some cultures, people give money as presents. Is this a good idea?
Yes, I believe that giving money as a present is a really considerable idea, depending on the situation. The main advantage that it gives the receiver the freedom to buy exactly what they want or what they need, rather than receiving something they might not use. like it avoids the awkwardness that of returning unwanted gifts or passing it on. However, some people argue, l- um, and they say that it can be really impersonal or less thoughtful than a carefully chosen item. But I think it works well for us for certain occasions like weddings, graduations, or um, weddings or graduations. But for close friends' birthday parties, I think a physical gift or an experience might show more personal effort.
Good. Personal effort and stuff like that. Good, good. I'm liking your progress. Okay. What do you think is the best way to celebrate somebody's birthday?
I think the best way to celebrate someone's birthday is not with a massive party, but with something thoughtful and personal that reflects on what the person truly enjoys, as a wonderful way to arranging a special experience, perhaps a nice dinner at their favorite restaurant or a memorable gift they would really admire. It's less about the cost and more about showing you care and making them feel valued.
Hmm. Good. All right. And then, the last question usually tends to be sort of, out there. So, should we all celebrate Earth Day to draw more attention to environmental issues? What is your opinion?
Yes, Earth Day should be celebrated as awareness grows significantly. Environmental issues are really difficult and require global attention, and it's an annual reminder for governments to work on their country, their environment, and individuals can pause on what bad habits they're doing and polluting the area they live in, and work on small projects or take some initiatives so that people people come together and uh, start um, start cleaning the area they live in.
Good, good. Right. So you've made progress. You've improved your responses, and yeah, they're elaborate. You're using good vocabulary. You're organizing them. So yes. So obviously, right, we want to move forward and keep getting better. Uh, I tend to shy from uh, appreciating students in general, like, or unless it's like really something out, that stands out. And it's because from my experience, students that sort of take it to their head, like, oh, I'm doing well, so that's it. Like, but no, right? So progress has been made, but we need to keep moving forward. Now, one thing overall, I didn't, sort of mention this halfway, is in almost all of your responses, you were repeating the question at the beginning, right? So in some cultures, people give money as presents is a good idea, and so you said, yes, I think it is a good idea to give money as presents. Or do you think big family celebration is enjoyable? Yes, I think big family celebrations are enjoyable. So when you start your response, you normally tend to repeat the question before going on to your response, and that is something I would ask you to work on, right? And not do that, because that lowers the quality of your response, right? It just shows that you need that, you need to repeat the question to sort of get your answer started. You can't just start answering without using that as sort of a prompt. Okay.
So, sir, like, how do I go like right into the answer?
Okay. So uh, in some cultures, people give money as presents. Is this a good idea? And you can say, I believe it is. I believe it is, but it really depends on the situation and the kind of event at which the present is being given, right? And then you go on with whatever response you gave. Or do you think big family celebrations are enjoyable? Why or not? Why or why not? And so instead of like you could start with I feel that they are, right? I believe that they are. Or you could just go, well, they, and when you say they, you are automatically referring to big family celebrations, right? Or you could say those, they or those. And you could say, well, those are times when the entire family is together. We don't really get a lot of time day to day to stay in touch or meet each other, and so these are events where everyone makes time to come together, sit down, have chat, share their experiences, get updates on what's going on with each other's lives. There's good food and everything as you said, right? So just these like just referring to the question in some way, but not actually repeating it, or just starting off with your answer in some way, right? Because obviously what you're going to say after the question is an answer to that question. So that much is understood between the listener and the speaker, right?
Yes.
If I ask you, have you had dinner yet? And you say no, I know you're saying no to my question, and you're not saying no, I have not done my homework because I didn't ask you about your homework, right?
Okay.
Or you could say, instead of saying no directly, more appropriately, as we've been practicing, if I ask you, have you had your dinner yet? And you say, I'll have it after class, which tells me you haven't had it yet. And it also tells me that, elaborate information that you're going to have it after you're done with your class, right? So yeah, so
Okay.
that's something you ought to pay attention to. That will, again, improve the quality of responses. Now, since we are done with the speaking, how about I assign some written work for next time?
Yes.
Okay, so the last thing we had done, we've done specimen, we've done March 2024, we've done June, we've done November variant 1 and variant 2. So how about we try November 2024 variant 3? Do we have variant 3 over here? November 2024 and QP13. Okay, so an email to a friend about you decide to start writing your own blog. So write an email and you're going to explain why you would like to start writing your own blog. Say how you will make your blog different from others you have read, and describe what might be challenging about writing your blog. Now, in this one, if you want to do some research about what a blog is and how people write it and what's it, what's the purpose behind writing a blog, you can do that bit of research to understand, and then you can go this. Now, don't include that research as part of your response, but just so that you have an idea, okay, what a blog is. Because even if I go ahead to write this, I kind of know what blogs are, but to be, I'd look something up to be more confident about that. Any
Okay.
questions about this informal email?
So, but is this the only one you're assigning?
No. So the other task, right? And this is an essay, so we'll have to take a look at the essays as well. I don't know if I've covered essay, right? We do have time.
No.
Yeah, so we do have time in class right now, so I'll explain essays as well. So you recently had a class discussion about the effects of playing computer games on young people. Your teacher has asked everyone in the class to write an essay on the subject. In your essay, write about the effects of playing computer games on young people. Okay, so here are some comments. Computer games are bad for your health. I spend too much time playing computer games, so those are obviously both against. Computer games teach useful skills. Some computer games are very entertaining, so those are in favor. And write your essay to your class teacher, giving your opinions. Use these ideas in your own 120 to 160. Okay, so this is November 2024, variant 3. Now, writing essays. So where do I find that? I need to go down here, and here's writing an essay. Okay, so the purpose of an essay is to write an argument or point of view, to give examples or reasons to support it. Sorry, and give examples or reasons to support it. The topic will be a question or an issue which people generally have different opinions about, right? So it's taking people's opinions about something rather than giving your own opinions. The essay could present both sides of the argument or just one, depending on the instruction. So in this case, you have both sides, right? The pros and cons of gamings for young people, computer games. And remember, they're talking about computer games, so let's not talk about PS5 and Xbox and whatever. An essay should be written in a formal or neutral register. So there you go, right? Something to be careful about. You don't want to use informal. And again, you're writing it to your class teacher, so they're elder and they're like, have a superior position as compared to you being a student. So it's going to be formal anyway. Should be well organized with an introduction, main body, and conclusion. So we'll see whether we need subheadings for those, right? This is just the distribution of your content. It should include language appropriate to expressing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing, the vocabulary required. Okay, let's go. Content and language is pretty much the same as, right? This part is the same for all the tasks. Tips for writing. Think about the audience. So the audience in this case is your teacher, right? In this particular question that you'll be assigned to you. The tone of most essays should be neutral or formal. It should clearly present opinions related to the topic, include a range of grammatical structures, so simple, compound, complex sentences, and related vocabulary. So include some vocabulary that's related to gaming, computer gaming. Avoid writing very simple sentences with the same grammatical structures and simple repetitive vocabulary. Right. So obviously you don't want something that is, of not off your level, right? You want something decent. Organization should be well organized with introduction, main body, conclusion. So that's seen that. You should use linking words and phrases which suit a more formal type of writing, such as furthermore, however, in conclusion, right? So going from one paragraph to the next, going from one part. Furthermore is like, adding something to that. However is showing contrast, this, not this, but that. And in conclusion is when you are, coming to the end of your writing. Filling ideas in sentences and paragraphs. One way to structure your essay is to have a balanced argument focusing on one side of the argument, then the other side of the argument, right? So you first present the benefits and then the drawbacks, right? So you give your introduction, then you move to the next paragraph. The next paragraph is talking about all the advantages, then the next paragraph is all the disadvantages, and then finally conclusion where you take one side or the other, right? So it's given over here introduction, briefly outline the argument, right? Engage the reader and make them interested. For example, asking a rhetorical question, right? So we've all played some form of video games, haven't we? That's a rhetorical question, right? Kind of. And create a stronger effect so that engages the reader. Present one side of the argument, support with examples and or reasons. So that's where your own ideas and stuff comes in. Again, you don't have a lot of words to play with this, but that's how you want to organize it. Present the other side of the argument, support your ideas with examples and or reasons. Conclusion, this should briefly summarize what you said and what you think about the argument. You can link your conclusion back to the beginning and encourage readers to decide what they. So you could keep it neutral and not come to a conclusion, right, on either side, or you could, right, you could sort of hint towards your own opinion and then, ask readers to, what do you think, right, or something like that. Or you could clearly give your opinion like, no, I believe this. And perhaps for the examination setting, giving a clear opinion is sort of the safer route. Now this is the very, basic and straightforward way of doing this. Alternatively, an essay can be one-sided. You present one side of the argument supported with examples or reasons. In this case, organization of your essay would be the same as above. with either one extended paragraph for the main body or two or more shorter paragraphs, each presenting a different reason. Now, in this case, because they've given you comments from students, your classmates on both sides, so this is what you would be following. Clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. Here's an example. Right? In class, you had a discussion about whether teenagers should eat fast food, right? And you're asked to write an essay. So here, the points: fast food tastes great. It's cheaper to cook food at home, so this is favored, this is against. It's not good for you, another one point and against, and eating fast food saves time. So these are the points that are given. Now let's look at the example. As you can see that there is no headline and there are no subheadings. So that's something we don't need. Okay, your essay does not need a headline and it does not need subheadings. And this is a decently written one. It's 12 out of 15, so that's good. So it's a good example. All right, here's the introductory catch. Teenagers love fast food, but is it good for them or should they avoid it? So that's a rhetorical question. It's a catch, right? And then two body paragraphs. So this is apparently in favor. It's quite tasty, it's quick and easy. You walk into a restaurant, and so they're detailing that, right? So this is their own ideas or further detail. Give your order, and your food is ready in just a few minutes. When you're in a hurry, getting fast food is a good option. However, so they're showing the contrast, the disadvantages. The main one is health. Fast food contains fat, sugar, and salt, all the things that are bad for you and make you gain weight and become ill. The truth is that fresh food cooked at home is much better for you, even if it sounds boring to most teenagers. Fast food is also a waste of money. It might seem cheap, but if you buy it a lot, your money will soon disappear. Right? And then the conclusion. So, overall, I believe eating fast food occasionally means now and then, right? Not on a regular basis, isn't a problem. But fresh home cooked food is the best. Now, what do they annotate over here? Right? The candidate introduces the topic in the first paragraph and uses a rhetorical question. No heading is required. Then the candidate presents the argument in favor of fast food. The second opinion is well supported with reason, right? So it's quick and easy, and so they detail all of this. So that's good. The candidate uses a range of appropriate linking words such as to begin with and furthermore. So they've used it in the same paragraph, right? To begin with, furthermore, however comes in later. In the third paragraph, the candidate presents arguments against, and both opinions are well supported with reasons, right? So they just don't give the opinion, they're telling you why, right? So that makes it good. Point number 5, the candidate includes the idea from the comments but uses their own language. So that's one thing, right? You can use the given ideas or ideas of your own. So one good way of tackling that is use those ideas but rephrase them on your own way, right? So what the comment said were, it's not good for you. That's what it said. What he said over here, he or she, whoever this person was, right? The main one is health. So instead of saying fast food is not good for you, it's saying one of the disadvantages is concerning health. So they've rephrased it, and that's a good way of doing it, right? So they've changed the grammatical structure and vocabulary where possible. Candidates use some extended sentences and make a few attempts at more complex sentences over here. And then the candidate provides a clear conclusion which shows that the essay is effectively sequenced and organized, right? He uses appropriate words for a neutral to formal register. Register meaning how it appears to the reader. Okay. Any questions?
No.
All right. So it's more or less similar to stuff we've already done, slightly different, right? And so yeah, you should be able to handle it well. So right on that note, right, again, this document is available on my drive, in my drive, I believe, not on. And so yeah, November 2024, QP13. I'll put this on your Google Classroom. And yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay. See you next time, inshallah.
Love fish.
Allah